Siren Head. Roughly 40 feet tall, near skeletal, mummified body the color of rusted metal, limbs inhumanly long and thin, and instead of a head, two emergency broadcast sirens fuse directly into exposed flesh, wires threading through dried muscle like someone wanted to install municipal infrastructure inside a corpse and just kept going. The sirens worked. That's the part that destroys you. They broadcast actual emergency alerts, stolen voices, crying children, conversations between people who are now missing. It lures. It mimics. It stands completely motionless near tree lines and roadsides until something gets close enough. Trevor's patron saint of going missing without a trace. But here's the lore kicker. Siren Head isn't just a predator. Trevor described him as possibly an ambassador, an emissary for something else. Something larger, from somewhere else, that Siren Head heralds or reports back to. Which means every disappeared camper, every abandoned car on a forest road might be less about Siren Head being hungry and more about Siren Head being on the clock. And the clock never stops. Upside Down Man. You're scrolling through old photographs. A car wreck from 1932. A house fire from 1948. A train derailment from 1957. Grainy black and white tragedy. But then you look closer. In the background, barely visible in the crowd, there's a man in a dark suit. Perfectly still, smiling, and his face is upside down. Not tilted, not rotated, upside down. Eyes where the chin should be. Mouth grinning at the sky. He didn't end up in those photos by accident. He's the reason those accidents happen. Everything about him reads almost human. Dark suit, thin frame, bony fingers. Everything normal except the face, flipped completely inverted like someone installed it wrong and decided it was a feature. His behavior is worse than his appearance. He's been photographed near disasters since the 1910s. Fires, wrecks, catastrophes. He's invisible to everyone present, only cameras catch him. And Trevor confirmed he's not just a scavenger. He's a catalyst. He nudges factors, turns a near miss into a full collision. Patron saint of car wrecks, natural disasters, and bloody pavement. That's his actual title in the mythos. Not the most powerful creature Trevor made, just the most deliberately, gleefully, personally rotten. Cartoon cat. He looks like something your childhood TV should have loved you with. Jet black rubber hose body, big white gloves, enormous cartoon eyes, a grin so wide it wraps too far around his face. He could have been a mascot. He could have sold cereal. Instead, he's been classified by his own creator as too evil to even be a patron saint, the only entity in the entire mythos to earn that distinction. He lives in an abandoned mall. His size is inconsistent, sometimes barely taller than a person. Sometimes he fills a 2-story building. His fingers change number depending on his mood. Trevor described his true form as a shape-shifting blob with far more control over the shifting than that sounds. The cartoon appearance isn't what he is, it's what he wears. Something cosmic and awful filtered through the cultural memory of old cartoon mascots to make itself familiar, approachable, safe-looking. Right up until the mask slips. Every other monster in the mythos avoids his territory. Even Siren Head keeps its distance. When the worst things in a horror universe are scared of one specific creature, that's the one you don't want to meet in a dark hallway wearing gloves with the wrong number of fingers. Country road creature. You're driving a back road at night. Your headlights catch something on the shoulder. A person, pale, thin, just standing there. You slow down. They turn their head at an angle necks shouldn't reach. Their legs have one too many joints. The country road creature is what hitchhiking nightmares look like when they stop being metaphors. Emaciated, hairless, grotesquely stretched, arms too long, legs too long, every proportion wrong in a way that only registers after a second of looking. It runs on all fours, crawls walls, folds itself into spaces nothing its size should fit. It has opposable toes. That's a detail you'll think about later whether you want to or not. The really cursed part is the disguise. It mimics being a person well enough to make you slow down, well enough to make you consider offering a ride. Once you do, the lure phase is over and the hunt phase begins. It's not amoral hunger. It's predatory intelligence wrapped in an almost human shape, specifically calibrated to exploit the one impulse that makes humans vulnerable on dark roads. The instinct to help someone who looks lost. You're not rescuing a stranded traveler. You're the prey that pulled over voluntarily. Smile Room Host. The Smile Room manifests as a fake door, disguises itself as an ordinary room, waits for someone to walk in, and digests them. Bad enough. But at least a predator with a method can be avoided. What you cannot avoid is the host. After the smile room finishes eating, it infects a consumed victim and sends them back out. The host looks almost human. Normal body, normal movement. The only thing wrong is the vertical line of crooked teeth bisecting the face from forehead to chin, continuing down through the torso and legs. A full-length dental seam splitting a person-shaped thing perfectly in half. The host walks through hallways. It exists in spaces where people are, and where it goes, the smile room follows, migrating its hunting ground on two human-shaped legs. The worst horror isn't the creature that attacks you. It's the one that makes you wonder if the person walking toward you down a corridor is still entirely a person. Mostly they look fine, right up until the light hits them from the right angle and you see the teeth. Fetid King. Most monsters are physical. The Fetid King went digital. He appears as a frail, elongated skeleton with 17 ribs, a spine stretched unnaturally long, a wooden crown with uneven spikes, and a mouth permanently open. Age, infinite. Location, everywhere. Gender, skeleton. Straight from Trevor himself. That last answer is somehow the most unsettling. His method is a computer virus. He infects devices, proliferating a single image titled kingbirth.jpg across every folder until the whole system is just him. Error messages appear. All who dare profane the Fetid King shall take his place. The images develop chromatic aberration. An eye appears in a hole that wasn't there before. And then, according to Trevor's own experience, the power in your kitchen starts cutting out. That last detail isn't lore. Trevor posted about actual repeated power outages while working with this imagery. He labeled the Fetid King with a personal warning: don't get close, don't look, don't speak to it, don't think about it. Mimetic hazard, as in knowing about him might be the mechanism. You're already reading about him. His kingdom grows. Man in the Red Room. Somewhere in a city, in the back of a warehouse, there's a room in deep red light, mostly empty. A few chairs. And hanging from the ceiling, upside down, is something shaped loosely like a person. Long arms, bent legs, a body of intertwined flesh strands braided around each other. Holes throughout. Head facing right side up while the rest hangs inverted. A floating detached jaw hovering just below. It phases through ceilings. It levitates. It communicates only through dreams, making the dreamer visualize the red room, the red light, and itself. Trevor described the room as a prison. Someone built it deliberately, knowing what was inside, and locked it there permanently. The creature can't leave without help. So it reaches into sleep, shows you the room, shows you itself, shows you exactly where it is, and waits for someone curious or broken enough to go looking. The dreams shift over time. The room changes slightly each visit. The creature seems closer. Trevor confirmed it's still contained. Probably, the warehouse is still standing. But somewhere tonight, someone is going to dream about a dimly lit room with a few chairs and wake up absolutely certain it was real. The stranger. He moves through aisles after the stores have closed. That's the entire caption Trevor gave him. Just that sentence and an image of a cloaked figure standing in a darkened department store corridor with a head that your eyes keep trying to correct. Large, round, pale, deeply wrinkled. Two enormous cartoon eyes painted directly onto the surface. A small pair of human ears. No mouth. Trevor designed him specifically to split people between terrified and weirdly fond, and that split is exactly the trap. Because those eyes aren't eyes. They're painted on a mask. And there are two thin human-like arms emerging from the cloak, peeling the mask away. Underneath, an enormous frowning mouth, leathery wet skin, many small sharp teeth. The cute face is bait, engineered to exploit the human instinct toward large-eyed things. Your evolutionary programming repurposed as a hunting mechanism. He operates in large stores after closing, inducing vertigo, making victims feel lost inside familiar spaces, wandering further from exits they can no longer find. And the stranger moves calmly through the aisles. Painted eyes, human hands, waiting for something dizzy enough to stumble toward him rather than away. Trevor's patron saint of the second series. Of what exactly, he hasn't confirmed. Given everything, the short list of possibilities isn't comforting. Some things aren't meant to be understood, just recognized too late. If any of these felt familiar, stick around. Subscribe for more, because once you start noticing them, they might start noticing you too.